Hello, here we're going to solve equation using a quadratic formula, which is x is equal to negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac out of 2a. And the equation we have to solve is 2x squared plus 9x minus 5 is equal to 0. This formula applies to the quadratic equations in the form of ax to the second plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So in this example, a is equal to 2, b is equal to 9, and c is equal to -5. So in order to use the quadratic formula, all we have to do is substitute these values into x is equal to negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac out of 2a. The only thing is that we want to put parentheses around value of c because it has the negative in there. So x is equal to negative b is 9, so -9 plus or minus square root of b squared, which is 9 squared, minus 4 times a, which is 2, times c, which is -5, and it's out of 2 times a, so 2 times 2. So now we get x is equal to negative of 9, which is just -9, plus or minus square root 9 squared is 81, negative 4 times 2 times -5, we have negative times negative, which will give us positive, so plus 4 times 2 times 5 is 40, so square root of 81 plus 40 out of 2 times 2 is 4. This will give us x is equal to -9 plus or minus square root of 81 plus 40 is 121 out of 4. This gives us x is equal to -9 plus or minus square root of 121 is 11 squared out of 4. Square root and a second power will cancel, so we get x is equal to -9 plus or minus 11 out of 4. So from here we have two solutions for x. So from here, since we have whole numbers, we have plus or minus in between two values in the numerator. So we break this down between two solutions for x. We have x1 is, let's start with the smaller one, -9 minus 11 out of 4, and x2, the second solution, the larger one, is -9 plus 11 out of 4. So first x is -9 minus 11 gives us -20 out of 4. So x1 is -20 divided by 4 gives us -5. The second x is -9 plus 11 gives us 2. So 2 out of 4. We can reduce this fraction by 2. And we get second x is equal to 1/2. Let's check these solutions by plugging them into 2x squared plus 9x minus 5 is equal to 0. Let's plug in x is equal to -5, so instead of x we plug in -5, and we get 2 times -5 squared plus 9 times -5 minus 5 has to be equal to 0. This will give us 2 times -5 squared is 25, so 2 times 25. Then we have plus 9 times -5, positive times negative, we get minus 45 minus 5 is equal to 0. 2 times 25 is 50 minus 45 minus 5 has to be equal to 0. 50 minus 45 is 5 minus 5 has to be equal to 0, and 5 minus 5 is 0, so 0 is equal to 0. This is a true statement, so x1 is a valid solution. Let's check x equals to 1/2 by plugging in 1/2 instead of x. and we get 2 times 1/2 squared plus 9 times 1/2 minus 5 is equal to 0. This will give us 2 times 1/2 times 1/2 gives us 1 out of 4, 1/4, plus 9 times 1/2, 9 is out of 1. So 9 times 1 is 9 out of 1 times 2, 2. Minus 5 is equal to 0. In the first fraction, we have 2 times 1/4. We can reduce this fraction by 2, and we get 2 and 2 will cancel. So we have 1 out of 4 divided by 2 is 2. So 1/2 plus 9 out of 2 minus 5 has to be equal to 0. In the first two terms, we have 1 out of 2 plus 9 out of 2. They have common denominator 2. So our fraction will be 1 plus 9 is 10 out of 2. We still have minus 5 and it's equal to 0. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Minus 5, that has to be equal to 0. 5 minus 5 is 0. 0 is equal to 0. So x2, which is 1/2, is also a valid solution. So our two solutions are x1 is -5, x2 is 1/2. If we need to write this as a solution set, we have -5, 1/2, our two solutions. That's all.